friends. I'm Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me, hey you, gangly guy. Everybody calls me Ciotti. I'm very confused right now because a screw just entered the actual shadow realm. Like, I was unscrewing a screw, and then the screwdriver went forward a little bit, and there was no sound. You know, like when you lose a screw, you'll like hear it. You'll hear like, and you can kind of like, oh, but like there was no sound, nothing. But it's just gone. It's stuck to the motor. I knew it. I knew that if there was no sound, it must be stuck to the motor. It was concerning because these are a specific screw. These are the very specific screw that holds the Meteor, the old school Meteor VTX to the canopy. Why have we chosen this? Why is this? Why do we do this to ourselves? It's worth it. 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 Just keep saying it. Hey guys. I'm feeling a lot better. Depression sucks, man. And it just sucks. It sucks for the person that has it. It sucks for everybody around you. It sucks a big bag of donkey dicks. But here we are. In the chat, why is this not working? BAD was first, Andrew Taylor was second, not Frank Nicholas, Free Lojo. I got the F right and the R right. Michael Kajas, Douglas 6, FPV Toast, CMYK, FPV Eugen, Four Little Pigs, Mr. Huggy, there's Frank Nicholas, LOL the Kiddison, Andrew Taylor, McConnell Studios, what's up, dude? Haven't seen you in a bit. I see you on Instagram all the time, though, doing awesome stuff. Hockey Rounds, Urban Beekeeper, Gert Jan X, Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper, Morton Upshot, Enyoki FPV, Kaz 1973, Dave S, Monkey D Cluffy. What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming. Thanks for bearing with me over the last couple of streams. Last few weeks, man. I typically only have meltdowns like every few months, every 2-3 months. But man, I've had a couple in like just the last month. I've had 2 in the last month, which is unlike me, but life is hard sometimes. And yeah. Shit just sucks sometimes. Yeah. Just gotta fight through. Just gotta keep going. Yeah, so I'm farting around with this guy. This is the this is basically just the AIO VTX camera and canopy from all of the beta FPV Meteor quads. I guess the Meteor 65, definitely the Meteor 65 Pro, and the Meteor 75. They've all got this same camera canopy AIO VTX setup, which I don't love. It's not as light as the Happy Model stuff that has, namely because of the external VTX here. Having an external VTX is just always going to be heavier and more complex and just a pain in the ass. Is it kind of nice that if the VTX dies, you can replace it? Sure. But the Mobula 6 2G4 AIO was incredibly reliable, and the VTX tended to not fail. And so, yeah, lighter and durable enough. And it's like, yeah, that's the way to go. And most of my rigs have that set up, but yeah, this has been super interesting to fly setups with this. So I've got the Meteor 75 Pro that I actually was so impressed by that I did an entire live stream about him, about it rather, and which I think is going to stay together. And on this one, the exact same thing happened where the whip antenna got all chewed up. The way that Beta FPV set this VTX up, with a whip antenna just kind of jankily hanging out that's long enough to get down into the props, is kind of silly. That's me being as polite as I possibly can. But you can fix that, and it's kind of the perfect use for these true RC ultra short singularities. And so that's what I'm doing with this one. I've already done it with this Meteor 75 Pro. I'm going to do it to this one too. And then that's really it. I'm not. This is really it for these Meteor AIO and canopy setups. I'm just gonna have these two, and I might actually end up moving one of these along and just having one of them because it's too heavy. Doing this Beta FPV cross style AIO has 5 amp FETs just like the 2G4. And I have a bunch of the 2G4s, so it only really kind of makes sense for me to. It doesn't really make sense for me to have any of these, but it's kind of cool, and it flies okay, especially on a 75mm build. So yeah, that's what's kind of going on here. And I would, to some extent, like what I do. You know what I want to do at some point here. Actually, I'll do it with this one. I will get 2 identically set up quads, 75mm rigs. One with the Beta FPV Meteor style AIO camera canopy VTX, and one with a 2G4. And I'll do a bunch of head-to-head. And we'll see if there really is on a difference. On 65s, I would not do this. This is too heavy. 65mm rigs are too sensitive to weight. 75mm rigs are less sensitive to weight, and you could actually make the argument that we have enough power on 75mm rigs that we're going to fly outside, that the little bit of extra weight is kind of no big deal, and maybe even helps, because more weight for throws, for off-throttle throws, and that's kind of what we're going to start to do outside, much more so than inside. Right? So, yeah, that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that. Welcome to Sim Sunday. Sim Sunday has returned. Velocidrone is finally done updating. If you want to join me, get your Velocidrone updating now. I'll bet you between the last time that you loaded it up and now, there is an update. So, yeah. If you want to join me in a little bit here when I fire up the simulator, which you're more than welcome to do, I'm going to be spectating you guys, and I'm going to try to, like if I see somebody having trouble with a trick or something like that, or if somebody asks in the chat, I'll jump out of spectator mode and I'll fly a little bit, and I'll bring the stick overlay up, and that makes it a lot easier to show you guys what's going on. At the moment, I'm trying to remember how to get Velocidrone out of full screen mode. There it is. There we go. Okay. And so, yeah, that's the big plan for today. Also, we're going to talk about the DJI Neo and the GoPro Hero 13. I had big plans of running out to bed. So my Hero 10 got destroyed a couple days before the end of my Geek Squad warranty, and so I brought it in. They sent it out, and I said to the lady that I was trading it in, I was like, man, it's a shame that this didn't break like a month from now, because there's a new GoPro coming out. And she's like, oh, well, when they get back to us that they can't repair it, because they never do, we just give you a gift card. And I was like, oh shit, that's right. And so I have that gift card for $400. And things have been kind of slow with gig work the last couple of months. And so I've just had this gift card. Like if I got booked for a gig, I would like run out and grab a 12 and it would be fine. But I haven't. And so I waited. And then Wednesday I woke up and I was like, all right, I'm going to go out and buy it. But then I said, nah, hold on. Let me look up and see if there's any actual reviews out there. At the very least, I was sure that it would be a 1-inch sensor GoPro Hero because DJI's the Avata 2, the sensor is significantly better. Right now, the best Cinewhoop that you can build is an Avata 2. The best Cinewhoop you can buy, right, because you're not building it, is an Avata 2 because the best Cinewhoop is the one with the best camera and the best video quality. And that's the Avata 2. So I was like sure that GoPro would have an answer for that. And the answer is a 1-inch sensor. I think that's what the Avata 2 has. Don't quote me on that. And so at the very least, I just wanted to look up the specs before I left the house. And I looked up the specs, and it's the same sensor as the Hero 12. And then I looked up a couple of reviews, and there's pretty much no reason to get the GoPro Hero 13 for us as FPV pilots. Different batteries, which is super annoying. If you have a 10, 11, 12, because then you probably have an extra battery. And when you Geek Squad trade in your heroes, just tell them that you lost the battery, and then you get a free battery. And the lenses, they're just really not for us. The anamorphic lens is interesting, but I don't think it's really for us because anamorphic lenses make these lens flares that are wide, which works great when you've got your camera mounted on static, basically. When you have your camera mounted statically. As soon as you start taking your camera and doing this, that lens flare is going to rotate and look terrible, more than likely. The macro lens makes no sense for us. And we've already got ND filters. And so, yeah, the Hero 13, and actually, like, a lot of people are super disappointed with the Hero 13, like, not just FPV. I actually have not seen a real solid review, other than Spark Kite Kit. And he even said, he's like, this is not for us. There's no reason to upgrade from the 12. But yeah, I watched a bunch of reviews from like mountain bikers and other action camera reviewers, and a lot of them were just like, what the hell, GoPro? Like, what is this? This is like an Apple release of like, yeah, here's the new thing, buy it. There's really nothing better about it, but look, it's shiny and fancy. You gotta have it. I mean, there's probably like one or two things that are actually better for somebody not in the FPV world, but yeah, for us it really doesn't make any sense. So I didn't like rush out, and I still actually have the gift card sitting here because I'm kind of I'm pretty decided, but I would love to see like an FPV review of it. I'm kind of waiting for a review that says, hey, I actually like it. Like, somebody will like it. I like to see both sides. I don't, if everybody's bashing on something, it either really is terrible or sometimes it's, I don't know. I like to at least see a good review. I want to see a good review of it. Because, yeah, an optimistic view can sometimes uncover things that really do matter, that like everybody else is right, like everybody's down on something, but like there's got to be something better, right? Like engineers at GoPro spent hundreds if not thousands of hours going from the 12 to the 13. There has to be some stuff that's better about it. So yeah, I'm just giving it another day or two, I think. But it is looking like I'm going to just get a Hero 12, which is great because I'm super excited to have that 8x7 sensor that will make That'll make Instagram Reels that much easier to kind of set up, and I'm looking forward to offering that to clients, right? Having that vertical, having a better field of view for a vertical crop. That's something that I'll be able to, yeah, that'll be nice to have. So I'm excited. And the Hero 12 is now cheaper that the 13 is out. So I'll should save like $100. What is really cool, I think, is the new, it seems like they're just calling it GoPro Hero. I'm going to call it the new Hero Mini. I don't know why they don't call it the Hero 13 Mini or whatever. But it's $200, and it seems to me like this is the session. This is the GoPro session. I think this is as close as we're ever going to get to another GoPro session. Yeah, it's got slightly better image quality than the Session 5. Apparently it's 80 grams, which is exactly what the Session 5 weighs. God only knows if it's durable. That's going to be the big question mark. Is it as durable as the Session 5? To some people, that's more important than others. Folks that don't have a problem spending $30 over and over and over again with the Geek Squad warranty, doesn't matter. The fact that it's 80 grams is unbelievable, and it doesn't have the ridiculous fisheye that the DJI Action 2 has. So yeah, that the 13 Mini, as I shall refer to it, seems kind of exciting. If I didn't have a whole bunch of Session 5s, I would probably be snagging one of those. And if I was flying 5-inch freestyle, a good amount, I'd be all over that, I think. The giant question mark is whether or not it's durable, right? If it's not durable, it's still 80 grams. And that's a big deal. That to me, for like freestyle FPV, that's the right weight for a camera. 80 is like not too heavy, but I guess there's no such thing as too light. But yeah, very interesting. I'm super looking forward to some FPV reviews of that camera. I'm mainly looking forward to some crashes. It doesn't have a front screen, which doesn't matter to us at all. It's got a whole bunch of like heat sink fins on the front, which might be a little nasty for us mounting it in TPU. What that means is, to me, is that it gets hot, and then if we put a TPU thing around it, it might overheat. So that's a little creepy. Maybe it's got those fins for people that aren't doing FPV stuff, right? Like, we've got a lot of moving air. So maybe we'll be totally fine encasing it in TPU. Yeah, sure, you can mount it from the little flip-out GoPro mount things, but that's a great way to destroy a camera really quick, is to, in a freestyle setting, right, is to not have nice, soft TPU surrounding it. So yeah, there's that. I guess we're diving straight into the GoPro Hero 13 review. Might as well just talk about the Neo. DJI Neo $200 drone. Looks terrible from like an FPV perspective, but good God, for $200, and it's got a whole bunch of self-follow stuff built in, which from the reviews that I've seen looks like it works pretty goddamn good. So yeah, I'm scared that the Neo is so cheap and so available and so noisy that they're going to be all over the goddamn place, and it's going to make the drone hate from the general public that much worse. But like, what good does it do? Like, now that I said it, now, right, like, there's nothing I can do about that. Like, it is what it is. A saying that I absolutely hate. Yeah, there it is. I mean, it's not for us. Something that I did find interesting that one of the reviewers talked about is that might have actually been Mads Tech. I'm getting an antenna out to put onto this VTX. I think Mads Tech said that it looks like DJI has artificially limited the power to the thing in the software. Basically, like put throttle limiting, roll limiting, pitch limiting, so that it doesn't overheat the motors and fall out of the air. So like when you go full stick, it's limited as to what it can actually do, as a way of getting around the fact that they use motors that are too small, props that don't make enough thrust, yada yada yada. I thought that was kind of interesting. That's probably the way to go, right? Like in that scenario where you've got something that you're prioritizing, like runtime, right? Obviously, which is what they do with a lot of their stuff. It feels like that's the way to go. You limit it in the software so that it can't hopefully fall out of the air. I don't know. It seems super weird, but what do you want from me? I just work here. But yeah, it's not for us. The DJI Neo has nothing to do with us. This is a completely consumer grade thing that not a single one of us has any real use for. Boy, is it loud. Sounds a lot like it sounds just like a 2-inch rig, right? Like 2-inch rigs, you've got to crank a ton of RPM to be able to lift any significant amount of weight. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Frank Nicholas says he ordered one. I'm super interested to see what you think, Frank. Super, super, super interested to see what you think. He rightly says it can be flown FPV with the controller 3 and goggles 3. I haven't seen a review of it flown this way. I've seen reviews of tracking, but it has no sensing. Yeah, it has no radar sensors, so it'll just run into stuff. But they've done the sensing with the actual camera. So when it's flying forwards, if an object comes close, it does a semi-decent job of not hitting stuff. But if it's flying sideways or backwards, which the tracking allows you to do, which is really cool, admittedly, it just rams into stuff. The other big problem, I saw a cyclist reviewing it. It maxes out at 22 miles an hour. Don't quote me on that number, but it maxes out at a speed that doesn't really work for cyclists, which apparently is a big use for this. When I was watching the Neo reviews, what struck me is, what is this for? Like, why? Other than to make DJI money. It doesn't strike me. I guess you could, from an FPV standpoint, I guess maybe it's the cheapest, lowest risk way to start flying FPV. But like, from the tracking perspective, not being able to go very fast, like basically all it can track is somebody that's like walking or jogging. In what world do we need footage of us walking or jogging? I'm sure there's a use. But like, I that was like the one thing that struck me is like, what is the point of this? Like, it's so noisy that you're not really going to be able to get that great audio. Although that guy, the one guy that was running through the woods with it, he had a mic on him, and it was actually fine. You could kind of hear it in the background, but like, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing, I was just like, who's like, what is that? Why? Why do we need to see this man running through the woods? It was very impressive from like the one thing that was kind of cool is like it wasn't cutting corners. Like it was kind of like he would run up like this and then he would turn 90 degrees and it would actually follow that. It would follow his path. It wasn't just straight following him and like cutting the corner. So yeah, I mean, like there were some things about it that were kind of impressive, but like with the speed being so low, like and it will go faster than that, but it's the tracking mode that when you put it into the tracking mode, it's got this speed limit, which makes sense because in the tracking mode, that's when it's going to ram stuff, because that's when it's going to be flying sideways and backwards. That's when it can fly sideways and backwards, right? So it makes sense that they would limit the speed in the tracking mode. They're limiting how hard it's going to hit stuff. But yeah, I don't know. That was the thing. That was the one thing was like, who the hell's this for? And I'm sure I'll get proven wrong. I'm sure people will use it in very cool ways, as creatives do. But yeah, I don't know. I just doesn't seem like it's really for us. But I have not seen a full-blown FPV video. I've seen like stupid little shorts of people showing that you can fly it with the controller and whatnot. Oh, great. But I've not seen anybody do something creative with it from like an FPV standpoint. But like, what? It's a 2-inch Cinewhoop, so it can do 2-inch Cinewhoop things. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know. It's I don't get the feeling that it's for us. I could totally be wrong. It could be great. But that's sort of my initial impression on it. I refuse to say hot take. I think I'm super disappointed that they don't let it track faster, because the tracking seems to be pretty goddamn good. And it will go like 35, I think 36 miles an hour. And if it'll do that, then like that opens the world up. You can put it up like surfers, mountain bikers, like street cycle, like there's a bunch of stuff that it could do if it could go a little bit faster. It seems like limiting the speed at 22 miles an hour is like, whoa, like that is just wrong. That is just like the wrong amount of speed. Like you got, right? Because like a lot of these activities that it would be a good fit for go a little bit faster than that. I guess mountain biking won't really work either, because it's just going to smash into all the trees. But yeah, it feels like surfing, dude. Like imagine surfing. You that would be awesome. But I guarantee you go more than 22 miles an hour when you're surfing. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like they missed the mark with the speed thing. But I'm sure they had good reason doing it the way that they did it. I'm sure there's a good reason that they kept. Maybe the tracking can't, like, maybe it can't keep up when it goes faster. You know what I mean? Like maybe if it goes faster, the tracking really falls apart, and it's just not good enough quite yet. And the Neo 2 or whatever will have enough power, processing power. Software will be better, that it'll be able to track at a higher speed. I don't know. But yeah, there are my thoughts on two of the newest things that have something to do with FPV. In the chat, if you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up an orange. You can do that for each other. If you want to get Hockey Rounds' attention, in your chat message, just type Hockey Rounds. Don't put a space in between hockey and rounds, because that's not how his screen name. How to tell people you're old without telling people you're old. Say the word screen name. His YouTube, that's what his YouTube name is. That's how it's spelled. If you like these live streams and we'd like to see them continue, jump on to CiottiFPV.com and click things, my friends. Do me a favor, check your Patreon if you want to be on my Patreon. Check it real quick. It's gone down by like $200 over the last 2 months. And I know that Patreon changed the way that they do things. They They used to be auto renew only, and then they changed that a few months ago. And I've heard from people that they didn't ask to be changed from auto renew to not auto renew. So yeah, if you want to be on my Patreon, make sure that you still are. If you're not, you might not be in the giveaways. So yeah, check that, and if you can, do auto renew, so that you don't jump off. And of course, that'll be the next giveaway that you were gonna win, right? And I don't want that. I don't want that for you. Etsy has a whole bunch of new stuff up there. A bunch of new stickers that are really cool. And some like gear, like random hard to find gear, like RunCam camera controls for your old school analog cameras. I think there's actually only one set of these 0702 29,000s left, even though this says 2. I traded Callie at Castle Crash an HD0 VTX and camera for a set of these. So yeah, there's only one of these left. There's a set of Beta FPV 0802 23,000s. And here's a bunch of the new stickers. So yeah, lots of new stuff. And there's a whole bunch more stuff coming to the Etsy store. So keep your eyes out over there. You'll dig it. Hey, by the way, one of the things you're going to see is M3 hardware. All of the M2 hardware that I have, I also have M3 hardware. So if you need M3 screws, button head, socket head, I've got a ton. Just let me know. Look, if there's like random stuff that you guys need, like hard to find random stuff, ask me. I have all kinds of weird stuff. A lot of times I'm hoarding it, but sometimes I have extras and I'm willing to sell you stuff for pretty much what it costs me to ship it. So yeah, ask me. If there's something that's hard to find that you can't find, especially if it's like something old, ask me. Also, like hard to find weird stuff, like M1.2 by 12 screws, so that you can do a double stack walk snail build. I had to buy a bag of 100. I'll never use 100. So let me know. That's the kind of thing that I need to get added to the Etsy store, that I will be. But yeah, if there's something random, I'm gonna do my best to add a ton more stuff to the Etsy store. But I've still got like some things that I've hoarded that I'm willing to let go. So just ask. Feel free to ask. There's a ton of different ways to contact me. Instagram button up here. Email button up here. Facebook is somewhere. Don't use Facebook though. Discord. There's a link to the Discord channel down here somewhere. There it is. Look at all these affiliate links too. If you're doing an order on the internet, make sure you use someone's affiliate link. It's free money, yo. Teespring store with some fun t-shirts. Fiverr, where you can work one-on-one with me if you really want to learn and get good. I can help you fly better, tune better, and plan a build out so that the build is specifically like catered to what you're looking for. This is one of the best things that you can do. Treat yourself to some knowledge, my friends. When we're in the simulator today, if I show you guys like how to do a move here or there, that's what we do. That's what we do in the flight instruction sessions. And it's like, if you want to get better at flying, this is it. Having somebody that's done this for 8+ years, watch you fly, watch your sticks live, and explain to you things one-on-one. Like that's, yeah, the pilots that I've worked with through here have like drastically gotten better in a really short amount of time. So like if you're plateauing or, you know, if whatever, I can help you out. And it feels good to fly good. Michael Kajas, in the chat, folks that have tagged me so far, Michael Kajas says hello. CMYK says word up, happy Sunday gangly gang. Urban Beekeeper says, have you ripped the sweet new map on Liftoff micro drones? It's wicked. I have not booted up Liftoff in literally years. So no, I haven't. I don't like the way Liftoff feels compared to Velocidrone. I'm a much bigger fan of Velocidrone. Apache Smoke says, what's up, how you doing? Hello gangly gang, enjoy the stream. See you on the stamp side. Thank you for continuing to do the timestamps, Apache Smoke. You're the man. Hockey Round says, stuck to the motor bell. Yep, always. What's funny, the reason why I didn't necessarily think it was stuck to the motor bell at first is when the screw popped off, the screwdriver went forward because I was pushing on it, and it wasn't stuck to and so I checked these two motors, and it wasn't stuck to these two motors. And I didn't, since the screwdriver went forward, I didn't think to check this motor down here, so I started looking around, but somehow it actually got stuck to this motor down here. That's how I didn't see it. But yeah, screws being stuck to motors is always the first place to check. When a screw disappears, it's always stuck to the motor. And Yoki says, I've been having a low week myself. I think it's going around. Hang in there. You as well, my friend. I'm on my way out of it. Walter says, take care of yourself, please. I do indeed. That's why I canceled the stream on Friday. I hate to cancel streams, especially like because I had to cancel 2 the previous week for Castle Crash. But I can't. I don't put on great live streams when I'm in a really, really bad place. And it can, like, if I'm starting to get better, as much as I love hanging out with you guys, like if I'm starting to get better and then I have a bad stream, which is like probably going to happen if I'm not feeling good, it can kind of do this, and then it'll take me longer to climb back up. So like if I'm in a place that's kind of bad enough and I'm focused on climbing out, if I cancel a stream, I can just continue to focus on climbing out, and then the next stream that I do is up here instead of kind of doing this thing where they gradually get better. That is mental illness for you. Think of it, although even if you don't have mental illness, think of it like when you get sick, right? Like when you get a cold, if you keep going to work and you keep stressing yourself out, it's going to take you a lot longer to get better. Whereas if you call out of work for a couple of days and just sit at home and relax and rest and eat soup, you'll get better a lot quicker, and then you can go back to work healthy sooner. CMYK says, have you had issues with the glide arms, pyro, hyperlight specifically, splitting in half along the lamination? I had 3 split yesterday. I have not personally, because I stayed away from the pyro hyperlight arms, but I have heard of that. I have heard one of the main reasons that Bob moved the glide away from Pyrodrone is that he wasn't happy with the quality of the carbon that Pyrodrone wanted the glide cut in. And so that was one of the, like I said, one of the big reasons that he moved over and started FPVcycle.com. And so, yeah, that's probably what's going on. That sucks, CMY. Are the glide arms not in stock on FPV? I know for a long time the only place we could get glide arms was from Pyrodrone, but then I know that Bob got a big shipment of them in. I just haven't looked to see if they're still in there. Striker says, "What sim do you fly?" Velocidrone. The logo is in the thumbnail. Brad Mondin says, "If I were to make 3 identical budget quads that I didn't care to lose," it's a great idea. Would you go with Emax Eco, F60, or Xing E 6S 1900-ish kV? It depends, Brad. If you are going to crash them hard into concrete, metal, wood, hard surfaces, I would not go with an Eco motor with a stainless motor shaft, because I've found that the stainless steel motor shafts are so much weaker than the titanium motor shafts of premium motors that the Eco and the Eco motors are not cheap enough that you spend more money. When the stainless steel motor shafts bend and break so much earlier than titanium that it ends up being cheaper to have a more expensive motor. If you're crashing into hard stuff, if you're crashing into grass, or if you're flying out over the water, right? If you're in scenarios where you're not going to be battering the shit out of the motors, then you might as well go with the Eco stuff, because the whole rig is cheaper. And if you're flying out over the water and you lose it, it's all gone. So yeah, it depends, Brad. But that's how I would kind of pick. And then like which Eco motors you pick, which premium motors you pick, it doesn't really make that big of a difference, to be really honest. Like most of the motors nowadays are so good that you can kind of just pick your favorite color, and that motor is going to be 98% as good as any of the others. This is really the biggest takeaway that I've gotten from a lot of Rossers testing. Yes, there is a difference, for sure. There is a little bit of a difference between some of these motors. But when you actually like do the math and you look at like if on like a two different 2306s, if there's a thrust difference of like 50 grams of thrust, multiply that out by 4, because 4 motors, right? 200 grams of thrust. But the thing is, like, when you actually do the percentages of like that, like a lot of times it's only like a 1 or 2 or 3% difference. Most pilots, or myself included, are probably not going to feel that, especially on like 5-inch rigs that are already like absurdly overpowered. And so, yeah, the big decision, in my opinion, is eco motor versus premium motor. And weirdly, the premium motors are what you want if you're going to beat the hell out of it. And then the eco motors you can get away with if you fly in fields and over stuff where if you lose it, it's gone forever. Seems super weird, I know. But yeah, I've been down that road. I've always tried to keep the FPV as cheap as possible, and that's a big driving factor because the eco motors are like, you know, $4, $5, $6 less expensive. That makes a big difference when you're thrashing and crashing and breaking them all the time. But yeah, stainless steel versus titanium, it makes a big difference when you start bashing it into hard stuff. Frank Nicholas says, what is any FPV equipment except to make the manufacturer money? Yeah, true. No. The answer to that is it makes art. I firmly believe that for the manufacturers, of course. But I think I'm having a hard time reconciling like what the Neo does to make art better than anything else. I don't know. That's my answer. My answer is FPV. For me, FPV equipment is to make art. That's what I'm going for. This is my version of this is my art form. You know. Morton Upshot says it's a glorified selfie stick. I guess. I don't know. Kevin James says the Neo is for dog walkers. Yeah, it's certainly not for dog walkers, because dogs are gonna fucking hate like the amount of noise that thing makes. Ooh boy, that like I firmly believe that we are about to see a whole new level of drone hate because of how loud and obnoxious that Neo is and how cheap it is. I think a lot of kids are gonna have it. And I'm also worried that they're going to do a lot of dumb shit with it, right? Because this tracking mode, like, imagine kids with this thing, like, walking around in public with the tracking mode, walking out in traffic, you know, the damn thing is tracking them while they're walking down the sidewalk and cars are fucking smacking into them. Like, okay. I don't know. I have a funny feeling that it's also going to inspire more drones being banned from more places, right? Like, and it's already pretty nuts. Like I'm already pretty shocked at how often I will see no drone zone signs. I think that is going to explode from this, which sucks. But again, like what are we gonna do about it? Eva FPV's in the chat. How the hell are you? She says it's a heavy 2-inch Cinewhoop. Yeah. I hate I hate 2-inch Cinewhoops too. It's not the right size. 2.5 is as small as it should be. 2 inches is too small. The reduction weight is not enough, and the increase in noise is just outrageous. But DJI is trying to pinch every possible gram and make it as cheap as possible. So I get it. Meccano Studio says, seems like the new drone you're talking about is an entry-level learning drone. Right. That's where it makes sense to me. That's where the Neo makes sense to me as the cheapest possible thing to get people flying FPV. It's probably really good for that. But yeah, Like Frank said, I haven't seen a video about that yet. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's awful loud. It's awful loud. And I just, at $200, it's like, oh my God, everybody's going to be able to buy one. Like, oh no. As much as like, I don't know. I don't know. I try not to be a crotchety old man with a cane saying, get off my lawn. You know, I try to be excited about new people coming into FPV, but drones being sold cheaply at Best Buy, I just don't think is the way. that opens the door to too many idiots getting their hands on it and doing idiot things. You know what I mean? Easy for me to say, for sure, but I don't know. It's a little scary. If you have one of these beta FPV Meteor builds, make sure when you're replacing your antenna, if you're using an antenna like this, you put the shrink wrap onto the antenna first before you... One of the things I really like about the beta FPV Meteors, I always have really liked this about them, is that they put this little rear extra bit of PCB here behind the UFL, and so you can put a piece of shrink wrap to hold the antenna down. See that in there? Hold the antenna down to the PCB. And that makes the UFL like kind of last forever. But you got to make sure you remember to put the shrink wrap on there before you slap the UFL on. Otherwise, you won't be able to get shrink wrap that's thin enough over the head of the antenna. So, yeah, shrimp wrap. Sorry, I mispronounced it. It's shrimp wrap. I forgot. Sorry, I forgot, guys. Also, this is what makes this a super pain in the ass. You got to put this through the canopy. The head of this will not fit through there. So yeah, this is the super annoying bit. You have to put... I might actually give up on this on the stream because it kind of takes like 3 hands to do this. You got to put it through there like that, and then you got to clip the UFL on, and then the really hard part is you got to get fire in there without melting the canopy to get this shrink wrap shrunken down. Yeah, this ain't easy. Anybody see Beetlejuice yet? Kind of interested to see it. I never saw the original because nightmares. But I think I might be able to handle it finally. I might as well see the new one. But I'm concerned that the new one's going to suck. Yeah, I can't get that, but I'll do it when you guys aren't watching. As soon as you guys aren't watching, I'll be able to do it. That's always how it works. With difficult things, is it not? Weebleed's in the house. What's up, Zotek? He says, it's all about the dribble marketing effect. Their first true micro, knowing them, they'll come out with a revision number 2 in 6 months. Yeah, true. Why give everybody the ultimate technology when they can milk us again down the road? It seems like their typical release. Yeah, I mean, I guess the opposite of that is saying that they have to release something, right? And, you know, you release something and you get more feedback than you can get internally. So, I don't know. Kevin James with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, dude. Holy shit, super generous. He says, I crashed my Bob 86 2024 analog several times trying to power slide. Bent one motor, replaced it, and now it's still trying to fly away when I barely touched the throttle. Maybe screws for the canopy / AIO are too tight. Clueless now. Take all the props off and put fresh props on. First thing, always. Fresh props. Then, well, okay. When you take the existing props off, spin the motors up in the motors tab. One by one. Spin them up slow. The motors tab goes from 1,000 to 2,000. Bring it up to like 1,200, like 20%, right? And then take your fingernail and put your fingernail next to the motor shaft. You might have bent 2 motors. Put your fingernail next to the motor shafts, and you will very easily be able to feel which one of those motors is vibrating more than another. Since you're still having this flyaway problem, it sounds like one motor shaft got bent bad, and it was very obvious. Maybe there's another one that got bent not so bad, and you just didn't notice it. And the fingernail thing, you will be able to feel. You'll be able to feel if you get a fresh set of motors and you put a fresh set of motors on here with the fingernail trick. You'll be able to feel a fresh motor that the like one of those 4 will be a little bit worse than the others. That's how sensitive the little fingernail trick is, right? So if you've got another motor that's bent like not terribly but just enough to make it fly away, the fingernail trick is gonna be able to find that. Fresh props, motor shaft bent, fingernail trick. Other than that, like, I'm going to assume that you didn't take the AIO out or the camera out. I'm going to assume that you've got motor plugs, and so your repair so far was unscrew a motor, unplug it, take it off, put a new one on. If that's the case, that troubleshoot is over because you haven't changed anything. Although you did say maybe screws for canopy / AIO is too tight. And so that kind of maybe makes me think that you did unscrew these and pull the AIO and pull the canopy maybe. In that case, I wouldn't necessarily blame these screws being too tight. I would blame when you put it back together, something got sandwiched between the AIO and the frame. A wire or something like that is going on. So take it all apart. Remember that your AIO has to float. It's on rubber grommets, and so you don't want anything influencing that AIO. You want the flight controller to float as smooth as possible, and the motors and the props are always going to vibrate, and so the frame is always going to have vibration down here, but you need to have this as isolated as possible. And so when you're piecing this thing together, when you're looking at it, you got to have that mindset. And you got to look at every little thing and look at it from every little angle. What could possibly be pushing up against the flight controller to hard mount it, right? And you got to just look around, and if you should have a little 5x loop, use that, and it could just be the smallest little thing when you reassembled it. So there you go. You can try backing the PIDs off, but you shouldn't have to. Try those things and get back to me. One of those things should be the answer. Brad Mondin says, I was thinking the Xing E, because it's a unibell, I can get 4 for like $35. Wow, 4 5-inch motors for $35 is a hell of a deal. If you're going to go the eco motor route, that's hard to say no to. And the Xing motors are really good. Chris Wells, they're a little heavy, but they're really good other than that. Chris Wells says, happy Sunday. It's Chris Clark, and Patreon looks good. Just checked. Thanks for all you do, and totally get the bad days. You keep it real. Thank you, brother. Don E with a $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, nice meeting you last weekend. Just got home myself. Jesus, where do you live? What did you do after Castle Crash? You haven't been on site this whole week, have you? Eva says, yeah, the thing probably means we're approaching like a 107 light license to be able to purchase a commercial drone. I would actually love that. And hot take, but I think that'd probably be a good thing. Yeah, me too. I really do think that would be a good idea. But how the hell is the FAA going to work with Best Buy on that? You know? I don't know. I don't know how that would work, but I absolutely wish that there was a way. Because like, and I think that would really work, because forcing the general public that wants to fly drones to do something that's kind of a pain in the ass but important will separate. I think it'll do a good job from separating out the idiots from the people that are actually going to give a shit. And I think it'll also funnel the people that are going to give a shit into our world, because it's like, well, if I have to take this test anyway, screw it. I might as well actually learn what FPV is, because I don't want to take, right? It's like, well, I don't want to take that test, so I'm either going to give up on this. Great, you're not the right audience anyway. You're one of the people that's going to do dumb stuff with it. Or I don't feel like taking the test. I'm going to build something myself so I don't have to take the test. And now you have to learn. And once you've taken the time to actually learn, then you have enough invested to not be an asshole, right? Like, I think that's why so many people do such dumb stuff with Best Buy bought drones, is that they have no skin in the game. Money doesn't mean anything anymore, right? $1,000 is nothing. Nobody cares about $1,000 anymore. So they go to Best Buy, they thump down, and or they just put it on fucking credit, right? And it's not even like money. And then they fly it over a fucking stadium because they don't care. They didn't care to do any learning, and just generally they don't care, right? And so I've always thought that that's one of the reasons that we have such a hard time. Is because the only thing on the line is money, and nobody cares about money anymore, right? Money has no value to so many people nowadays. And so, yeah, a somewhat difficult test, I think, would be a really good idea. Really, really, really good idea before you can buy any commercial, not build it yourself kind of drone. Yaro Slavel says, hey, how's the Mobile 6 2024 durability so far? Amazing for me. I have a version 1 and a version 2. The version 1 I've battered the hell out of. The version 1 had direct solder motors. They seem to have completely stopped selling that one, and they only sell... They don't even say version 1 and version 2. That's something that I got internally from talking to Happy Model. They called the version 1 the direct solder one, and then they referred to the version 2 as the motor plug one. And I haven't seen the direct soldered one for sale anywhere. And actually, I don't think it ever went on sale. I think it was just the prototypes that they sent to a bunch of us. I think the only one that they've ever sold is the motor plug one, and they don't call it version 2. They just call that the Mobile 6 2024. So yeah, admittedly, the motor plug version, I probably only put 20 or 30 batteries through before I turned it into an RC drift car chasing setup. And like, yeah, I crashed that, but I crash it from like 2 inches off the ground, and like, it does take some hits, I will admit. Like, I've been doing like head-on passes now where the cars go the opposite direction. And like, I get those head-ons wrong a good amount of the time, and the RC cars, like, they hit it. I mean, they're coming like 15 miles an hour, and then I'm going like 15 miles an hour. So like, it's a hell of a, like, they fire me across the room. So it is taking a bunch of impacts. It's not slamming into the hardwood from 25, not 25 feet, from 15 feet, like upstairs. But I don't know. I feel like it's taking some actual abuse. And I crash a lot chasing the little RC drift cars. So it's like, it's not huge hits, but it's taking hits over and over and over and over. It's taking a lot of hits. And it's been completely fine. So yeah, the 2024s seem to be totally durable. The Air 65s as well. They seem to be pretty damn durable. So yeah, we're, as much as I still hold strong that the 2G4 seems to be like the most durable AIO ever. The 2024 and the Air 65 seem to be pretty damn durable. I recently found out that Beta FPV moved some of the components on the Air 65 AIOs away from like high impact areas, meaning where the camera would hit. they also used a mount that raises the camera up so high that the camera will never hit the AIO again. But I love that they did that, because if we switch the canopy to a canopy that lowers the camera down, having the camera not smash into the gyro is a really good thing. So yeah, man, the new stuff seems to be really, really good. So yeah, there's that. Donnie says, went to Atlanta for the day and then the mountains. That's super cool. Super, super, super cool. What mountains did you go to? Kevin James says, thanks, friend. You're certainly welcome. Freelojo says, it also doesn't help that Best Buy employees will tell people how to bypass the safeties like alt and lock. Is that a thing? That sucks. I never thought about that. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they? Yikes. Kinetic says, I mean, even if Best Buy employees don't, the internet will. Kinetic says, I have the version 1 Mobile 6 2024 from TinyWhoop. Ah, okay, cool. So they did sell it. It's really durable, but the solder joints keep popping off the motors in the SC. Yeah. That's why I don't like direct soldered motors. Eva FPV says, probably wouldn't be on the Best Buys, but on the right on DJI. First thing manufacturer to require user input certificate number to activate it would make sense. Yeah. Yeah, right. Of course. Yeah, you got to plug it in, you got to register it, and you got to do a course. But see, that's hard. Yeah, no, it's hard across the board, right? Because DJI doesn't want that. DJI doesn't want somebody buying something and then getting frustrated that they have to take a test and then returning it. But I guess the FAA just says, like, hey, you have to do this. But then I feel like Best Buy has to get involved, because they're going to have people coming back to them saying, like, hey, I keep failing the test. You know what I mean? That's a slippery slope there. But I think it's actually really important. Kevin James says, I got the direct solder Mobile 6 from TinyWhoop. Look at that. Okay, so they did sell them. Good to know. Willie FPV says, camera from the Air 65 sucks. I wouldn't say sucks. I don't love it, though. What can I do about it? What replacement will be okay? Pretty much any. Pretty much all of the little lightweight analog TinyWhoop cameras are good. Are acceptable. The Air 65 camera is a little bit less acceptable. To be honest, though, you're not going to get that big of an improvement. You'll get an improvement, but it's not going to be a big improvement. A really popular choice is the TinyWhoop pinch cam. It's going to be a little bit better, but don't expect a massive improvement. The Air 65 camera is, I'll give it a B-. So, yeah. All right. That's all good to go. We talked about some things. What else did I put in the thing? We can dive right into Sim Sunday, it looks like. And I'm caught up on chat. Look at me go. All right. Where's that Velocidrone window? There it is. The name of the room is going to be CiottiFPV. Man, I have not been on Velocidrone in a while. Let me see if everything still works. I didn't think to pre-test, like, hooking my transmitter up. Amazingly, I remembered to fire up Velocidrone early and let it update. But I didn't think to actually plug a transmitter in. Should be fine though. Yeah, the multiplayer room is going to be in the America region, and it's going to be called CiottiFPV. We are going to go to City because it's just too fun, man. Let's do City Pylons. I think that's got the least junk to fly around. I like City because when would you ever be able to fly a 5-inch rig in an actual city without going to jail forever. Look, it works! Everything just works. Although, there's something... What's happening Why am I getting this right yaw when I move the gimbal up and down? What's this shake? See that? What the hell's that about? What is this gimbal doing? Hold on, let me hook up a different transmitter. That's super weird. Ah, nice. Eva's trying out the squid stick. Let me grab my old QX7 and see if it's doing the same weird-ass thing. Let me guess, though. There's not going to be a battery in it. Of course there isn't. Hold on. I'm going to hook up this battery that's almost dead because I'm just going to try this out for like a split second. So, hang on. That's super weird, man. That one of the really good ways of testing if your transmitter is the problem versus your drone. I mean, the easiest way is just to plug in a second quad. And if you still have the weird behavior, it's almost certainly your transmitter. But the simulator is a great way of troubleshooting if your transmitter is acting up. As I'm about to do. So let's see. Oh, yeah, no. All right, so that's not my transmitter. That is Velocidrone being weird. Good to know. Yeah, like all of the rotation that I have on the quad right now, I've not pushed any yaw in. Oh, yeah, it's all screwed up. Look, that's full stick. Look at it. I'm just holding it. All right, ready? I'm going to go full yaw left. Ready? Full yaw left. Oh, there. Now it's fine. What? What the hell? Well, now it's acting totally fine. What the shit? Oh, nope, now it's all weird again. Look at it. I'm going full yaw left. No, now it's fine again. Weird. All right, but it's fine. It's Velocidrone. That's okay. We can... we're not cutting a cinematic video in here. It doesn't matter. As long as it's not my transmitter, I'm happy. All right, hold on. Let me put this transmitter back. While I'm farting around, here you go. Here's, well, Kinetic hasn't launched yet. Quad Goblin hasn't launched yet. Mr. Huggy yet. Why is everybody sitting on the ground? There we go. There's Kinetic flying around. Hey, I'm curious what the stream delay is. Hey, Kinetic, hold right roll. Do like 18 right rolls in a row. I want to see what the wait, no. All right, so oh wow, that's not much of a delay. All right, so you're going to do that again, but you're only going to do it when I say now. Ready? 1, 2, 3, now. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. So it's 4 seconds. That's not bad. You know, it's funny. That's what oh my God, stop. That's what YouTube says the ultra low latency delay is. So 4 seconds. That's cool. Look at Kinetic flying all low to the ground. I'm proud of you. Very proud of you. Hey, if anybody wants me to break down any camera movements / tricks other than the trippy spin because it's dumb, let me know in the chat. And now is our chance to kind of do that. Oh, fart. Did I just put this into storage mode? I did. Shitballs. There was Kinetic. Now we're going to watch Quad Goblin for a minute. Hold on. I got to unplug and replug this. Joystick, not storage. There we go. Cool. If you guys want, we can do the lead follow stuff again. That used to be super fun, where everybody would fly really close together up and down the main street, and then I act as like the camera person and try to show everybody all grouped up. We do that. That used to be super fun. Kinetic says you should try calibrating in radio and Velocidrone. Yeah, I'm gonna need to. Although that was not like a calibration thing. That was like it's getting the wrong. Look at Quad Goblin just getting all weird. 10 points for you, sir, for getting weird with it. Always get weird with it, friends, especially in the simulator. The simulator is just like, you should be peak weirdness in the simulator. Yay! EvaFPV says, well, it finally happened, having elrs flashing issues. There it goes. Dexter says you should try FPV Logic. I'm on a Mac, and there are very few simulators that work with Mac. But that's okay, it's worth it to not have to deal with PCs. Cactus says the Mobula 6 24 cam sucks, at least on my rig. Like it smears the image. That is not normal. And in my opinion, the Mobula 6 2024 camera is one of the best, if not the best, cameras that we've got. So it sounds like you've got one that's broken. Get in touch with whoever you bought that from and get some DVR and show them the problem, and hopefully they'll hook you up. If they won't hook you up, get in touch with Happy Model. They might send you a fresh cam. You're gonna have to direct solder it, which is kind of annoying, but yeah. The new Mobula 6 2024 cam is from FXT, and they are they're one of the best camera manufacturers, and they make some of the best analog cams. So yeah, it's one of my favorite cams. I've used a bunch of different cameras now chasing the RC drift cars, and I think that camera is my favorite. Here's some free Lojo for you guys. Eva says, I've developed a tiny bit of empathy about this and won't roast you quite as hard now. There you go. It's okay. I don't take the roasting personally because I know it's a problem. Like, I've talked to enough people that have had the same issues. And I'm not a computer person. I'm not an engineer. Like, so yeah, when I have problems with that kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, that's something I'm not good at. That's okay. All right. So, Freelojo is heading up to the clouds. Oh, wait, no, Freelojo has disconnected. His throttle is at 0. Oh, he's just checking the oven. Mr. Huggy, what are you doing? Show us something, Mr. Huggy. You guys can join this session. It's in the America region, and it is called CiottiFPV. But, fair warning, your flying will be shown to 1,000-ish people. They won't talk shit, but, you know, just be warned. Mr. Huggy doing some smooth moves here. It's a little bit jittery. I'm assuming that's my internet connection, because you can't do anything on the sticks to make it jitter like that. Getting on up there. So that's, we're getting to see that pull away from the building. So, Mr. Huggy, fly towards the like, carry more momentum towards the building, and then be more gentle on the throttle, and you'll hopefully not pull away from the building like that. That is a super common thing. Like, in the simulator, it's great because there's no fear of losing it, but in the real world, doing building dives, oh my god, it's so hard to stay tucked in on the building, because it's nerve-wracking as hell. But yeah, the easiest way to get around that is when you're getting ready to actually turn the thing over and do the dive, make sure that you have some momentum going towards the building, and then turn the rig over, and then at the last possible second, give it the tiniest little throttle blip, and then that way you can kind of lock in. A lot of times what people do is they try to perfectly climb the building and then just jump off the throttle. Like, they try to... yeah, perfectly climb the building with no gap between them and the building on the way up, and then just jump off the throttle. It's much easier to give yourself at least a little bit of momentum towards the building at the very top, turn it over, and then just tap the throttle. Let me actually show you guys that. It's kind of hard to put into words, but it's very easy to show you. So a lot of times, what you want to do, what you think you want to do, is like match this, like get it just right, so that you're not getting any closer, you're not getting any farther, and then you jump off the throttle and you turn it over, and now look, see, it's pulling me away. It's not pulling me away that bad. What you want to remember is when you turn this thing over, when you turn it over like that, even though you're zero throttle, watch, I'm going to zero the throttle out. Zero, and then turn it over. When you turn it over, it uses thrust. The yaw, you're doing both yaw and roll to turn it over like that, and they use thrust. You want an example of that? Turn it over like this, and watch how far out. See how far out we just got? I was at zero throttle that whole time. So what you want to do, and I mean, it looks better this way anyway, is just have a little bit of forward momentum, turn it over, and then blip the throttle. Just like tiny little blip. And the other thing that allows you to do is correct. You can make multiple corrections there, right? Once you've done it a bunch of times, you'll figure out just the right amount. But yeah, if you want to dive that's really locked in on the side of the building, carry that forward momentum, turn it over, and then blip it. And it's kind of nerve-wracking because you're like, oh, what if I hit the building while I'm turning it over? Well, you don't need to carry a lot of momentum in. And if you are carrying a lot of momentum in, turn it over early and then blip it to get it off the side of the building. And then the other really important thing with building dives is you can close back up on the building. And you don't have to do this. If you're getting pulled out, you don't have to do this nonsense. You can close back up on the building by using the aerodynamics of the quad, and all that looks like is this. If you're getting pulled out, you look in towards the building. The simulator does not do a great job of this. In real life, this works a lot better. In real life, if you have a dive and if you're too far out, if you just look in, there it goes. The sim's doing a good job. See how it sucked me back in? And so in my opinion, this looks a lot better to get back in on the building dive, and then you can use the throttle to stay off. That looks a lot better than this nonsense. This is such a faux pas. Oh, I'm getting pulled out. Oh, I'll just do barrel rolls all the way down. So that I can, a part of the barrel roll is pointing me back in so that I can use the throttle. That just, to me, the barrel roll during dives thing is awful. You might disagree. You're allowed, but you're wrong. This is a building dive. This is a hot building dive right here. You're doing something that's so cool that you don't need to add things. Just get quiet on the sticks. Yeah, my computer is running like ass right now. This sim usually runs perfect, and it's all jittery and weird. Like this, that's cool. That's what you want. But that's just me. If you want to do it with barrel rolls, you're allowed to. It's not going to look as cool, but you're allowed to. Kinetic, what do you got? My quad is going to fall to its death. I just went zero throttle at the top of that building. Kinetic is fucking shredding over here. Freelojo says, I'm also having issues with Velocidrone pinning full throttle with no input. That's weird. Velocidrone can be a little bit weird sometimes. Ryan says, which sim is this? This is Velocidrone. In my opinion, the most accurate in terms of physics, and also is Mac compatible. Kinetic avoiding that, avoiding those street lights. He's doing a good job in the past, 15 seconds of me watching, kind of maximizing like the drama that we can create with FPV, right? Like we can go huge and go ripping up the side of the building, but then we can fly really small around like a street lamp. That is a really, really unique aspect of FPV. We can go really big or we can go really small. And you just have to do it. Like it's on a map like this, where we have all these tall buildings, it's very tempting to just fly massive and just use lots of full throttle and just go ripping up and down the buildings. And that's cool, but then you can really draw people's attention and hold people's attention by then doing small stuff like this. It's very hard to do. It's hard to do because it's technically harder. It's technically difficult, I should say, to fly small with a big powerful rig. But it's also hard to. I don't think you can fly through there. I don't think there's a gap through there. Prove me wrong. I think this is a netcode thing. Not only is it technically hard, but it's hard to adjust your brain. Like when you start flying really big with a lot of full throttle, you want to continue to fly big with full throttle. But then when you're trying to do small stuff, you can't. You got to use small amounts of throttle. Kinetic be shredding, yo. Yeah, Ryan, base license is fine. You don't need to get any of the add-ons. I try to fly maps that are vanilla, basically, for the live streams. Who else is in here? Oh, nope. I'm on the chat. Wrong spacebar. Quad Goblin, which we've watched. Let's see who's new in here. Mr. Huggy. Geronimus. We haven't watched him yet. Get in there, Geronimus. There it is. Not going full throttle. He's doing work with street lights, so he's not going full throttle. Geronimus, now that you're doing building stuff, use full throttle. In my opinion, you do you. But when you start to fly big, yeah, that's when typically you want to use full throttle stuff. One of the mistakes that myself included, a lot of people make, is when they go to fly small, when they go to do the power loop around the street light, they try to use full throttle. We get like weirdly obsessed with using full throttle, and it's just not necessary. When you're trying to do a small power loop like what he's doing right now, it's totally unnecessary to use full throttle. You can still use full throttle, like you're just going to use a much smaller blip of. I mean, you're just going to use a blip of full throttle, right? So you can absolutely do these power loops using full throttle. It almost makes it harder though. I like the way it looks, but it's more difficult to do that because you got to be really technical and really sharp on the sticks in order to do that. It's a lot easier to use half. I'm so used to using full throttle that it's actually hard for me to do it. There you go. It's harder for me to do it half throttle. There you go. There's a good example of it. I'm still doing a throttle blip, but I'm only doing a little throttle blip. Again, I'm so used to doing a full throttle blip that my timing is based around full throttle. Absinthe, we haven't watched him yet. Let's see what he's up to. A little bit of pitch forward, roll around through the gap there. That's a really cool one. Holding that roll angle there to kind of fly around at like a 45. I dig it. Becoming one with the building. Morton Upshot's having a hard time with Velocidrone. Sometimes, every once in a while, I'll have a tough time with Velocidrone. I'll usually just give up, and then the next time I fire it up, it's fine. Super weird, but nice little wall ride there. Nice. I love watching people fly in the sim because like there's no consequences and it really shows how good, like, flying for real. There are varying levels of anxiety, like coming and like some people don't deal with anxiety well. So like flying in real life, like a really good pilot sometimes can really struggle in real life because either they have a hard time dealing with anxiety or there's a varying level of anxiety, right? Like somebody who can just barely afford to have one quad, that is going to generate way more anxiety than somebody who has a dozen of them and really doesn't care, right? And like anxiety is real. I know that more than most. And so in the simulator, to me, is really where like your actual piloting skills get to shine because there's zero consequences. And what's funny, I'll sort of never forget. the first quad camp that I went to, the one quad camp that I went to as an attendee rather than as an instructor, here in Atlanta, actually, I had my laptop there, and I was I was wondering how late Quad Goblin was gonna pull out of that dive. I think he disconnected or something. I think everybody just disconnected. What the hell's happening? No, BC Pete's here. I was on the simulator just fucking ripping. And I remember Drew Camden noticed, and he watched me for a minute, and like I was big on like pitch forward stuff and Matty flips back then, and I was really good at it. And so I'm doing all this backwards flying, pitch forward, Matty flip, nasty stuff. And I'll never forget Drew being like, "Damn, dude, can you do all that stuff in real life?" And I said like, well, some of it, but not a lot of it. And like back then, that might have still been when I was unemployed. And so like there was a lot of anxiety tied up in like I could only afford these. I had just built my first 5-inch rig, and I think I had 2 micros and like maybe 1 TinyWhoop. Maybe it was just 1 micro and 1 TinyWhoop. But like my quads were very valuable to me, and that value added a ton of anxiety, and that like the answer that I gave him was true, and it was yeah, it was kind of from that. And like I don't know if there was a subtext of like you got to be able to do it in real life for it to be real, you know what I mean? But like and that's probably me reading too much into it, but yeah, I remember him saying that. I remember being like flattered, but also like, oh, because like Drew is a guy at the time. I mean, still, he's somebody that could do that stuff in the real world, and like I kind of couldn't. And that like kind of felt bad, but again, there was probably no subtext there. It was probably me reading too much into it, but like, you know, that was a thing. And so yeah, like it's funny, I've now worked through Fiverr with a bunch of people who they did a lot of work in the sim with me, and they got really good in the simulator, but then when they go out to do, and they've come to me in a session and been like, yo, why can't I do this stuff in the real world? Like, what's the deal? Like, I'm shredding in the simulator with you, but then when I go out to fly for real, like, I can't do half this stuff. And we have a similar conversation that I'm having with you guys right now. And it's interesting. Quad Goblin is practicing some backwards flying, or his Velocidrone is messed up. I think his Velocidrone might be messed up. Unless he might just be flying backwards. This is a great map for practicing flying backwards because the buildings are so tall, so you can reference off of the buildings. Now I feel like his Velocidrome is... Yeah, all of a sudden everyone is flying backwards. Is everyone practicing flying backwards? Or is No, everybody's flying backwards. There we go. Let me show you guys what I was just talking about. So with the really tall buildings, it's a great way to practice flying backwards because you can reference... Well, this is a bad example. Hold on. You got to be low to the ground. That was the mistake I was making. If you can fly low to the ground, you can reference off the buildings, and you can practice what amounts to trippy spins. All trippy spins is flying backwards and turning. And so a really good way to practice trippy spins is just to fly backwards. Because, again, that's all you're really doing. It's difficult because you can't see the ground. So you don't know how high you are off the deck. And that's one of the hard things. But with the nice tall buildings, you can hammer full throttle and fly up here towards the tops of the buildings and just fly around. And just and that's all trippy spins really are. It's just flying backwards and constantly turning. I just saw a couple of new people. BC Pete, I don't think we spectated you yet. What you got, my friend? Winder says the power of suggestion. Yeah. Kinetic says, I struggle a lot with anxiety flying in real life. Whoops fixed it, though, because they're just so bulletproof and cheaper to repair. There you go. One of the many things that are great about TinyWhoops. I agree 100%. Walter says, when I flew first time solo my RC plane, it was after 10 minutes, I was tired as hell. Yeah, it's unbelievable what a toll the anxiety takes on our brain. That's one of the things that, like, flying for work, I really noticed. Like, after the cycling gigs, I'm completely wasted. Because it's like hours. I'm literally flying for hours in a super stressful environment, right? Like the cyclists, this is their job, right? And if I crash in front of them and a bunch of them go over the handlebars and get hurt, like, I've just wrecked their whole season, maybe the rest of their year. If it's a bad enough injury, maybe like for life, right? And like that there's an anxiety there that I can absolutely handle, right? Like, it's one of the things, like, I try my best to think of mental illness stuff as positively as I can. The tongue-in-cheek thing that I'll say a lot is like superpower. Like what's the superpower of anxiety? What's the superpower of depression? I really don't know if there is a superpower of depression, but there's definitely a superpower of living with anxiety. And it's that you get a lot of practice dealing with anxiety because you have to. Like, it's just, when you spend your life anxious, you develop coping strategies and you just kind of get used to it in general. And so, yeah, the superpower of having generalized anxiety disorder, where you have anxiety about everything, is that you can deal with a lot of anxiety. So, like, in those scenarios where it is just a super anxious scenario, I can handle it better than most because I've practiced. I practice all day, every day. And so, yeah, lemons from lemonade, right? Nickel FD, I don't think we've watched him yet. Let's see what he's up to. He's out by the limits of the map, of the map, rather. Go for it, Nickel! Go! Do it! Throw yourself into something crazy. Let's see it. There's a 4-second delay, and now there he goes. Oh, he's going to get some static in a second. He probably already is. Using the elevation. I like it. I like it. Level the horizon out, Nickel. Yeah, buddy, get in there. Throw yourself up one of those buildings. Go for it. 4-second gap. There's a 4-second delay between the in the live stream. Dive that H building, Nickel. Turn right. Dive that H building. Dive it. Get it. Get it. Maybe he doesn't have the stream on. Let's do this. Let's go up and down. Let's watch Striker for a second, and then we're gonna go up and down the main street. We're gonna do the group flying exercise that we used to do that used to be super, super fun. Oh God, Striker, please no. Oh Jesus. Slow down, slow down. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Stop that. Slow down, slow down. Jeez. There you go. Easy. Easy on the Red Bull. This is the FPV equivalent of get off my lawn. This is the old man, the old man FPV equivalent, is it not? There you go, man. Now we're talking. Hell yeah. This is it. This is how you fly FPV right here. No, fly however you want. I can't handle the stick bang stuff. You guys know that. Yujin, we're gonna give him a couple seconds because we haven't spectated him yet. But then we're gonna go. We're gonna do the formation flying. We're gonna do the formation flying up and down Main Street. What we do is we fly as low as we possibly can down the main street all the way down to the end, and then we all turn around as tightly as we can. And the name of the game is just trying to stay as tight as possible. When you're the leader, when you can't see anyone else, that's okay. Just fly, just suck it up. It's not fun to be the leader, but someone else is going to pass you before too long, and then they're the leader. And so the idea is that you fly as consistent as possible. And it doesn't look like we have speeds on the screen anymore. We used to be able to say the target speed is 30 miles an hour. I guess they've removed the speeds. But yeah, we're just, if you're the leader, maintain a speed. We're not going full speed. It's the idea is not to go as fast as possible. The idea is for us to you guys to group up, and then I'm the cameraman and I try to show the group in a cool way. And when there's like 4 or 5 streaks all tight together, it's really, really cool looking. All right, I think I gave everybody a minute of fame or whatever. So I'm the leader. What's my trail? I think my trail is purple. So this is the main street. It's the main street that you spawn on. And so you fly to the end, you do a big split S like that, and then you fly right back down the main street. And you're just trying to stay as consistent as possible. And like right now I'm the leader, that's okay. I'm just going to be consistent, get to the end of the street, blip the throttle, turn it over, split S, back down. And then once we get a good little group going, then I can change to be the cameraman. And we're not doing tricks, we're not doing rolls, we're just trying to get as close to one another as possible. Come to the end of the street, full throttle blip, turn it over, nice and slow, nice and gentle. We're trying to do those split S's gentle so that we can all stay together. It takes like half the run here to group up and to get close on one another. And so again, this is about the pace that we want. Full throttle blip, turn over, come back in. And we want to stay close to it helps to stay close-ish to the ground, but try not to crash too much. And so right now I'm the leader. I'm going to lead this group for a little while longer. I'm sure there's people that aren't listening to the stream that will hopefully see what we're doing. Do the full throttle blip at the last crosswalk. So I'm going to show you now on this run. So the last crosswalk is coming up. It's like at the end of the last row of buildings. So now BC Pete is the leader, but that's okay, right? So full throttle at this crosswalk, and it doesn't have to be a big blip. Split S, turn it over. And then whoever's the leader, everybody else has to try to catch up, right? So that's why you don't want to go too fast. Whoever's green, you're going awful fast. It's hard for us to catch up. Slow down a little bit. Slow down, slow down, slow down. So that's the deal. Whoever's in the lead, everybody else has to try to catch up with them. Try not to go blasting down the main street, though. BC Pete, slow down a little bit. Slow down a little bit. Because here's why we want to go slower, is because it takes a while for everybody to group up. And so if we go really fast, all we end up doing is a massive split S, and then we take the entire time to try to get caught back up. And then by the time we get caught up and we tighten up as a group, we got to do another split S. So we want to go a little bit slower. I can hear you guys behind me. I'm being a good example right now. In a second, I'm going to let you guys group up together so I can show you. But again, make sure you fly a little bit slower. Who is at the lead there? Yeah. This is good. Quad Goblin, you slowed down just about right. So this is the speed we want. Let's do another couple passes at this speed. Crosswalk, full throttle, turn it over. And it's totally normal that the leader changes. Good, Quad Goblin. John Goblin, Quad, I forget who it was. If you're always the leader, you're always going too fast. If you're tired of being the leader, slow down. That's all it takes. You guys are starting to dial it in. What I don't want is everybody to slow down and the whole group to be going too slow. We want to maintain like roughly this pace. It used to tell you speed. Oh, there it is in the bottom left. Speed kilometers an hour. Okay, so the target speed is 60 kilometers an hour. How about that? Bottom left corner, you should have your speed. Just do it by feel, though. Don't, like, stare at your... Don't stare at the kilometers an hour. Do it by feel. But every once in a while, look at the kilometers an hour. And make sure you're roughly... Basically, like, if you're in the lead... then you should be looking at the kilometers an hour. And again, what we're trying to do is get close to one another. So whoever's in the lead, you're just trying to get close to them. So, like, there's a bunch of people that are in the lead. Quad Goblin's in the lead. I'm trying to get close. I overshot him. Somebody else is in the lead. This is harder than you would think. Because, like, as soon as somebody else goes into the lead, you want to, like, speed up and catch them. But then a lot of times you overshoot them. So it's tough. That's why we want to try to mimic that 60 miles an hour. So now you guys are going to start to notice me being all over the place. So stop using purple as who you're trying to follow. You're following each other. I'm going to start to be a camera because I'm the one live streaming, and I'm going to try to show how close you guys can get to one another and trying to make it kind of look interesting. I'm going to do a lot of this like backwards shit to try to show you guys. And so that's why it's cool. Like for you guys, the coolest thing that you can possibly do is get really close together because it just looks amazing. It's not the most interesting thing when you're flying, but when you watch the live stream back, you'll be able to see yourself getting all close to one another. And for all the other people watching, you know, you're doing the cool looking thing. But it is actually really fun. It's really difficult to fly really close to each other. Now we're going like 80 miles an hour. Slow down, fellas. It's really hard to fly 60 miles an hour. It's flatter than you think you should be. But it gives us more time to group up together. And it gives me a little bit more of an ability to like kind of show you guys. To show you guys on the stream, I should say. And so yeah, stop trying to follow purple because I'm going to be going ham. One of the really cool things is when I get ahead of you guys and just park it. Who's going the wrong direction? So yeah, this is our this is one of the most fun things. Like the feedback that I get from us doing this is like, yo, it's so fun to watch. And it's a good exercise in patience too. That like FPV, especially with like 5-inch rigs, it's like all we want to do is go full throttle. But this right here, this is really good practice. Really, really, really good practice. And this is hard to do. One of the reasons why we have a tendency to go back to like full throttle is because it's actually like easier. It's easier to just hammer the throttle and do like big stuff. This is really subtle flying. You want to practice like cinematic flying? This is it right here. This is like cinematic 101. How do you fly smooth and slow and gentle? How do you not move the sticks much? You have to do all those things to be able to get really close to one another. One of the reasons why I like the full throttle split S at the end is it lets you like shake it off. Like the anxiety like builds up when you're doing this, and then you can like shake it off by getting your full throttle burst out at the end of the run. If we do this for long enough, the pack will really start to tighten up. Hold on, let me change some of your guys' tail colors. Like everybody is. Keep going, fellas. Everybody is like teal and green. I should be able to come in here and... Where the hell is it? Player list. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. So let me... so I'm purple. Let's change some of these greens. We'll go blue. And we'll go like an orange. Holy shit, look up... Oh, there's a bunch of spectators. Okay. Oh, the room is filled up, isn't it? I think the room is filled up, so it's forcing people to be spectators. So flying, we've got teal, blue, purple, green, or is 2 greens, no reason for that. Let's go red. Flying, there's another blue. Let's get out of that. Let's go to that color. Flying, here's a light green. Let's change that to yellow. Okay, cool. That should be cooler looking, and that took just the right amount of time. Oh, yeah, I can already tell that's better. That's cooler looking. Yeah, look how cool that looks now. You guys can't see your own trails, by the way, in case you were wondering. So at some point, people that have been in here the entire time jump to spectator mode, so that you can let some of the spectators come in and fly. I'm going to use the honor system on that. All right, we're loosening up. Let's tighten it up, fellas. Why are you guys going so fast? Slow down, slow down, slow down. Fusion, slow down. You're going 80 miles an hour. You speed demon! 60 miles an hour, 60 kilometers an hour is the target speed. Actually, you know what? Let's try 30. I don't think this will work, but try 30. Try 30 miles an hour, 30 kilometers an hour as the target speed. Wow, that's slow. Let's just try it. Let's try it for a few passes. Boy, is that slow. I'm still going 50. You guys are going 60 still. There is a delay in the chat, though. Try 30. Winder's doing it. 30 might be too slow. How about 40? Let's try 40. 40 mile. I think it's going to be too slow. I think 60 is the right number. Let's try 40 though. All right. Eva FPV is in the lead. Try to hit 40 and follow. If you pass the leader, that's okay. Just try to go 40. If you pass the leader, you're the new leader. This isn't as hard as I thought. Yeah, let's try this for a bunch of passes. 40 kilometers an hour. When you pass someone, resist. When you become the leader, resist the urge to slow down and let that person pass you again. Look down at your speed and try to hit the target speed. Everybody has to be the leader sometimes. But when you're the leader, your job is to look down at the speed and try to hit 40 kilometers an hour. Boy, it is hard to fly 40. These 5-inch rigs just want to go like 50 and 60. Yeah, I think 40 might be too slow. Let's try another couple passes. Light blue is way up. Yeah, 40 is so slow that 40 is not the number. It's 60. Let's go back to 60. 60 is the number. 60 kind of feels slow, but it's not like painfully slow. All right, so here's the lead group. 1, 2, 3. Lead group is turning around, changing directions. I want to say it's Striker and Eva in the lead. Yeah, here we go. So 60. 60 is the new 40. 60 kilometers is the right speed. So BC Pete is the leader, so he should be looking down at his speed to try to hit 60. Somebody else is going to accidentally pass at some point, and that's okay. But he just led that entire run, and now he does a split S. A lot of times during the split S, somebody else is going to pass. Everybody has to lead at some point. Quad Goblin says, how do I change the spectator? I actually don't know, Quad Goblin. You can definitely... Well, he just left the session, so that's a definite way of doing it. So everybody has to lead at some point. When you lead, look down at your speed, try to hit 60, and just suck it up. You won't be leading constantly. Now I'm going to become the camera person again. Hold on, let me change these 2 greens. We've got 2 greens. Winder is green. I'm going to make you a different color. Hold on. Session player list. Winder is going to go from green to yellow. There we go. All right, cool. Where's everybody at? And again, the name of the game is to try to stay as close as possible to the leader. Everybody's going to have to lead. As soon as you're leading, don't slow down to get back behind someone. Try to hit the speed. Try to hit the right speed, 60 kilometers an hour. And then my job is to show the group. Yeah, my computer's running like ass today. I haven't restarted it in forever. Those big old split S's. Ohm just plows into the ground. Yeah, the only time you should be going the opposite direction or anything like that is when you plow into the ground and have to reset. Too fast, fellas. We're going 85. Slow down, Striker. If you're in the lead, look at your speed and try to hit 60 kilometers. There we go. There are going to be times when you're like, the really challenging part is like when somebody does a tiny little split S and then they're like majorly in the lead. And then like for the entire run, everybody tries to catch up. That's what makes this really difficult. Like you don't know you're in the lead when you're in the lead. And I can't like really tell you guys that because of the stream delay. But yeah, that's why like as we do this for 15, 20 minutes, we get better and better and better at it. Oh, do you guys have miles an hour? Oh, for God's sakes. Hey Siri, what is 60 kilometers an hour in miles an hour? 37 miles an hour. Sorry, guys. Mine is in kilometers an hour. 60 kilometers an hour or 37 miles an hour? That must have been quite confusing. I don't know why mine's in kilometers. All right, so we're getting good at this. So here's the next level. The next level of this is this big tall building on the right. When you get to the base of it, you go full throttle. Oh, for God's sakes. You go full throttle up to the top, and then you dive it. You try not to overshoot the top of the building. You dive down it, and then you hook back up on the road, and you go 60 kilometers again down the road. And then on the other side, there's another big building, I think. Yeah, it's this big one on the right. It's always the big building on the right. It's not as big. Full throttle up to the top. Try not to go really high. You don't want to go over the top of the building like this. You want to go full throttle and then chop the throttle so that you just get to the top and then you slam back down on the road. And the point is to do a big L. You don't want to try to cheat it. You want to fly 60 kilometers an hour as a group. And then when you get to the base of the building, we all go full throttle up to the top. Chop the throttle early enough so you don't overshoot. I overshot. And then you dive back down the building and you wait. Full throttle at the bottom to link back up with the ground. And then you slow down. You're going to carry a ton of momentum from the dive. You slow back down to 60. We group back up. 60 miles an hour, as tight of a group as we can. And then we get to the big building. Wait. At the base of the big building, full throttle. Chop it early. You're trying to just barely crest the top. And then dive back down. And then wait. Full throttle at the bottom. We want an L. Everybody will cheat it at a different amount, so you don't want to cheat it. You want to like full throttle at the ground so that we all try to get there at the same time. Wait. Full throttle. Chop it so you don't overshoot. And you try to stay zero throttle pretty much the entire time. You're trying to go from like maintenance throttle at 60 miles an hour, the whole run, to full throttle, to zero throttle, back to full throttle to not hit the ground, back to maintenance throttle. I'm going to turn this stuff off so it looks a little bit better. Now I'm going to be the camera. Yeah, perfect. And you're going to get more and more antsy as you do it, and you're going to want to get on the throttle earlier and earlier and earlier. You got to fight the urge. And now it becomes really hard to group back up into a tight group down Main Street here. But it gets a little bit boring just driving up and down the main street. And now my job is to try to show you all. It's really fun to try to frame it and keep you all in the frame. It's super difficult. But it's just the coolest shit ever to see the trails all moving around, seeing like the little adjustments that everybody makes to try to get linked back up. I find that to be the most fascinating thing ever. That is too cool. And like as everybody gets better at it, it just gets more and more cool looking. Anybody that's been in here the whole time, jump out, because I know there's still some people spectating. We'll give everybody a shot, and we're probably coming up on 5 o'clock if we aren't there already. Sun's in my eyes. Oh boy. A triumphant return of Sim Sunday. Oh yeah, it's exactly 5 o'clock. Cool, we'll do this for another few minutes just because we're all in the zone. If anybody has a trick that they want me to show them with stick overlays, let me know. Last chance. I think I'm going to start doing Sim Sundays again, though. It depends on how this stream does and what you guys say, really. If this is fun, if you enjoy this, that's all that matters. And we'll do it a little bit more often. Sim Sunday is, it like weirdly feels bad for me because it's a very easy stream for me to do. I don't have to put like any real work in. Like we just come in here and fly around. And like, I feel weirdly guilty about that. Like I always feel like I need to put more work into these live streams, like more pre-planning, more like giving you guys more info, stuff like that. So yeah, I realize that's one of the reasons I stopped doing. Like today, I like normally a few hours before the stream, like I start like really thinking hard about stuff. If I don't have something planned, I'll start like working on stuff that I want to review or whatever. And like today, I was like, well, shit, I don't really have to do anything. I just have to plug the controller in and update Sim Sunday. And I had this weird like feeling of guilt with it. One of the things I always worry about with Sim Sunday, though, is that it's only fun for the people that are here, and like the stream replays are not necessarily that fun, which is why like I try to be like a camera person here and like show you guys in a way that's kind of cool. But yeah, there's a little window inside my head. Looks like it's just me and BC Pete right now, so I'm just gonna get as close to him as I possibly can. BC Pete, be as steady as you can on the sticks, although there's like some lag, which is killing me. BC Pete's out of here. I think he might have crashed. This is a good time to end it. It's 5 o'clock and I'm hungry as hell. That was fun. It's very fun for me. I don't know. It feels like weirdly selfish. That room will stay up, excuse me. That room will stay up. You know what? You guys haven't been able to see the speed. The speed is down when I go to the speed is here where this camera view is, for anybody wondering why they couldn't see the speed in the live stream. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if that's Sim Sunday used to be really fun, and then I think like I started testing a lot of stuff, and yeah. Let me know if you like Sim Sundays. they're easy for me, so it's yeah. I have no problem doing more of them. But you guys got to tell me. You guys got to tell me that. Porky Chop FPV says, great time flying in the sim. I'm out. Time for a bike ride. Nice. This guy getting some exercise. Shit. Andrew Taylor says, I'm loving Sim Sunday. Walter says, don't feel like that. This was fun. Relax. I'm off. See y'all. Freelojo says, wee little Sim Sunday at least once a month, please. I'm totally down for that. Feel free to if you guys ask for it, I will do it more. And feel free to remind me. A few of you have over the last few months. Which is why I remembered and I'm doing it. But yeah, if you guys like it, the more you remind me, the more I'll do it. Cool. I think that's about it. Let me take a quick look around. Look at the incredible. I forgot to show this on the Castle Crash recap stream. Bob Noxious modeled and printed this, which is insane because this looks exactly like the castle at Castle Crash. Bob admitted to falling down the 3D printing rabbit hole a few months ago. There was a couple of months where he was less active in FPV, and it was because of 3D printing. He fell down the rabbit hole. And but this is one of the things that came out of it, which is awesome. This was like a prize to like people that won stuff, and yeah, he just made a couple of them for us special guests, which were super cool. Really, really, really well designed. I cannot explain to you how closely this looks to the actual castle, and like he didn't laser scan it. I guess he just used like pictures of it and then just drew it in 3D and CAD. Amazing. And then he made these little, very cool little coins, for like, drink tokens and just stuff, just like, you know, keepsakes or whatever. So yeah, I gotta find a cool spot for this. Maybe here? I don't know. I want to put it somewhere that like you can actually see it. I'll find a cool spot for it. Yeah, it's gonna live somewhere up here. EVAPV says, I think Uncrashed has a Mac version now. The drift chase in that could be fun for Sim Sundays if your computer can run it. That's pretty cool. We've done the there is drift in Velocidrone, but it's like an expansion pack that you have to pay an extra couple dollars for, which I'm fine for. The main problem with it is the drift cars are not like, they don't move in a way that's real at all. Like they have like a static speed, and then there's just like the car rotates sideways and it like kind of maintains that static speed. It does not simulate real drifting at all. It's practice, and practicing chasing something that's moving is a skill set, and it does help you, but it doesn't. If you chase the cars in Velocidrone for like 100 hours and then you go to do it in real life, you're gonna have a hell of an adjustment as to when the cars in real life actually speed up and slow down. Frank Nicholas says Uncrashed does have a macOS version available on Stream, $14.99. There we go. Steam. That's a separate application that I might still have. Hey, look at me go. I'll give it a shot. This computer is relatively quick. Whether or not it'll be able to handle it while it's doing all the OBS things, that's another issue entirely. But it's updating Steam. I will grab it on Steam. EVAPV says, yeah, the Velocidrone car physics are garbage. Yeah, in Velocidrone, the cars are like they're like a model train that you just, you know, set the speed and it just goes that speed, and then they just draw the cars rotate yawing, and they draw silly smoke. So it's there, and it will definitely help you get used to start to learn how to chase, but yeah, it's not as good as it should be. It's got to be hard to do that though. I'm shocked that they were able to do it at all. EVFV says, I thought it was a photo scan too. I know, right? I'm sure he based it off of pictures, but I don't know how he actually did it. He will come in at some point and let us know how he did it. I was gonna buy it right now, but Steam is taking absolutely forever. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks for hanging out. CiottiFPV.com. Support me. If you want to see these continue forever, I'm down. Bunch of people jumped off the Patreon or got struck by the Patreon changed their auto renew thing to not auto renew. So if you want to be on the Patreon, check it. Make sure you're still on there. If you're not on, now's a great time to join because it just dropped like $200 in the last like month. So yeah, support people that make good stuff and they'll keep making good stuff. CiottiFPV.com. Do it or I'll die. You don't want that, do you? I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 10. Threaten them with your own demise. That's how to run a YouTube channel. Hey, beginning of the stream was me chopping up a ton of Castle Crash footage that I'm gonna send to Banana FPV Banana for a edit that Fly Tribe is doing, which should be pretty cool. Also, I am now done with 2 edits. Patrons will have gotten to see one of the Castle Crash edits that I put up on the Patreon channel. I have another one here. Do I have 2? No, surely not. There's one. This one's done. Oh, this one's not quite done. But yeah, there's going to be a bunch of edits from Castle Crash. Instead of doing one giant edit that is like one massive impossible project that overwhelms me and ends up not getting done at all, I'm going to do a bunch of smaller edits. It's easier. It's quicker. You know, instead of putting 30 or 40, 50 hours into one massive edit, I'm putting 4 or 5 hours into each of these smaller edits. You're going to have to watch a little bit more not quite as good flying, right? Like the 1 mega edit, I get rid of 98% of the flying and then you get the absolute best 2%. Doing it this way, I'm going to get rid of 90% of the flying and then you're going to get the best 10%. So it's not going to be quite as good, but I figure it's better than one giant project that never gets done or doesn't get done for like 2 years. So yeah, look out for that. Those will go up on Patreon first, and then some of them will just stay up on Patreon. Some of them will go public for everybody to watch. So yeah, cool stuff coming. Thanks for hanging, friends. Here is just the audio from one of those edits. Sorry, just the video from one of those edits. Which one is this? This is a 75mm rig, in case you're wondering. Come on! There it goes. See you guys tomorrow night at 10.